Do you want to know why legendary directors keep hiring the same storyboard artist film after film? Well, as storyboard artists, we are the first translators of a director's vision, and knowing exactly when to use an extreme wide shot versus a close-up isn't just about aesthetics. It's about speaking the universal language that guides every single department on set. So, master these 8 essential framing techniques, and you'll become the secret weapon that every production needs. In this comprehensive guide, I'll walk you through the various size framing techniques used in filmmaking, from the widest shots that capture the vast landscapes to the most intimate close-ups that reveal subtle emotions. The important thing to always keep in mind when you're storyboarding a scene is that you have an entire arsenal of shots at your disposal.
A pair for every occasion.
So by the end of this video, you'll learn how to choose them wisely, as each shot type serves a specific purpose in visual storytelling and evokes different feelings in your audience. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video, as I have a special gift I created just for you guys that you'll be able to download and start using straight away. Okay, let's get started with the first shot. The extreme wide shot is all about scale and setting. When you're filming an EWS, your subject may be so tiny they're barely visible or not visible at all. What you're really capturing here is the environment, the world around your character. Think about those breathtaking landscape shots in movies like Lord of the Rings, where you see tiny figures walking across vast mountain ranges. That's an extreme wide shot doing its magic. It immediately communicates to your viewers, this world is massive, and our characters are just small parts of something much bigger. These shots are fantastic for opening your scenes because they establish where we are. In fact, they're often called establishing shots for this reason. But they're also great for showing the epic scale of action, like in war films where you want to show hundreds of soldiers spread across the battlefield. When viewers see an extreme wide shot, they often feel a sense of awe, maybe even insignificance. It reminds us how small we are in the grand scheme of things. It's a powerful way to set the tone, especially for adventure films where the environment plays a crucial role in telling the story. Now, while many extreme wide shots serve as establishing shots, not all establishing shots necessarily have to be extreme wide shots. Stick with me here. The establishing shot is more about function than size. It's that shot at the beginning of a scene that tells your audience where we are now. For example, these series of establishing shots of flying cars tell us we're either on another planet or at some point in the distant future. When you're switching locations in your story, the establishing shot is your best friend. Otherwise, it could be very confusing to just suddenly jump locations without establishing where we are. It's kind of like saying to your audience, hey, we're in New York now, without having to literally spell it out in the dialogue. For example, a quick shot of the Empire State Building or maybe Big Ben in London, and viewers immediately know where we are. But establishing shots do more than just set the location. They can also tell us what time of day it is. A sunset establishes it's early evening, or what season it may be, as this shot of Hogwarts from Harry Potter clearly indicates it's wintertime. They can be shot with a locked-off camera, or, as in this case from Lord of the Rings, a moving camera that slowly reveals the location, almost like an in-camera wipe. What's great about these shots is how efficiently they communicate information. So instead of having characters awkwardly explain where they are or what time it is, you just know it. In fact, one of the golden rules of filmmaking is to always show something to your audience rather than just telling it to them. That's the power of visual storytelling right there. Moving in a touch closer, we have the wide shot, also referred to as a long shot. This is where your subjects are visible in full, but they're still shown in relation to their surroundings. Now, the environment still plays an important role here. Wide shots are like the workhorses of filmmaking. They let your audience take in everything at once, the characters, their surroundings, and how they all relate to each other. It's about showing your characters as part of their world. These shots are particularly useful when you want to show movement across a space, when there are multiple characters all within the frame, or when the location itself is important to the story. Think about characters coming upon a new, impressive environment. A wide shot captures both their reaction and what they're reacting to. When viewers see a wide shot, they get context. And this allows them to better understand not just who your characters are, but where they are and how they fit into that space. So in essence, a wide shot is about showing the relationship between a character and their environment. Now we're getting closer to our subject with the full shot. Just like it sounds, a full shot shows your character's full body from head to toe, and it's all about capturing their physical presence, how they move, their body language, and their gestures. Full shots are perfect when you want to focus on a character's actions or movements. Maybe they're dancing, fighting, or just have interesting body language that tells us something about who they are. When you see someone nervously pacing or confidently striding into a room, that's often shown in a full shot. Now, what's interesting about the full shot is that it's still wide enough to show some environment, giving context to the character's actions, but at the same time, close enough that we can start to connect with them as individuals. It really strikes a nice balance between showing the scene and focusing on the character. These shots help the audience understand physical relationships and actions, while at the same time keeping enough distance to see the full physical impact of a moment. The Cowboy shot is a really cool name for a framing technique with an interesting origin story. As the name suggests, it originated in Western films, but it stuck around because it's just so damn useful. This shot typically frames a character from mid-thigh or knees up. It got its name because it was perfect for showing cowboys with their hands hovering over their holsters, ready for a gunfight. It captures both the character's face and their hands, which is exactly what you needed for those tense showdown scenes. What makes the cowboy shot so powerful is its versatility. You don't have to go as wide as a full shot to show what the character is doing with their hands, and you don't need to cut to a close-up to see their facial expression. The cowboy shot gives you both. It's that perfect middle ground that shows both emotion and action in one frame. In modern filmmaking, it's used for all sorts of scenes where both the character's expression and their physical actions are important. In fact, it could be said that it's economical storytelling at its finest. The medium shot is probably the most common framing technique you'll see in movies and TV. Usually showing characters from the waist up, it's often the bread and butter of dialogue scenes. What makes the medium shot so useful is its balance. It's close enough that we can clearly see facial expressions, but wide enough that we can see some body language and get a sense of the immediate surroundings. It's perfect for conversations because it mimics how we naturally see people when we're talking to them. Directors love medium shots for dialogue because they can show how characters are reacting to each other while still maintaining context. You can see a character cross their arms, lean in, or maybe back away. All important visual cues that add layers to what is being said. So when you're watching a medium shot, you feel like you're in the room with the characters without invading their personal space. It's intimate without being intrusive, making it perfect for most dramatic scenes. So there's no wonder why it's the most common shot in movies. Now we're starting to get personal with the close-up shot. This is where we move in on a character's face, usually shown from the shoulders up. Close-ups are all about emotion and connection. There's something incredibly powerful about the human face in close-up. We can see every micro expression, every flicker of emotion in the eyes. As viewers, we are hardwired to read faces, so close-ups create an immediate emotional connection with the characters. Directors use close-ups when they want us to really feel what a character is feeling. That's why you'll often see them during emotional high points in films. The confession of love, the moment of realization, expressing fear or terror, or the silent tear rolling down a cheek. These shots bypass our intellectual defenses and go straight for our emotions. Close-ups also work wonderfully for important details like items being exchanged between characters or a hand reaching for a weapon. As a side note, when a close-up is used in this capacity, it is often referred to as an insert shot. Now, by using a wide aspect ratio, it's also quite possible to have one character in focus while another is behind them out of focus, creating a very powerful shot that helps propel the story forward. It's also quite possible to have more than one face in the shot, showing a multitude of emotions at the same time instead of having to cut back and forth. By eliminating distractions and focusing our attention, close-ups tell us this is important, so you'd better pay attention. When used effectively, close-ups create some of the most memorable moments in film. They bring us face to face with characters in a way that feels very intimate, like we're sharing their most private moments. Finally, we reach the most intimate framing technique, the extreme close-up. This shot gets right up close and personal, often showing just a portion of the face like the eyes or mouth, or focusing on a tiny detail that might otherwise go unnoticed. Extreme close-ups are all about impact. They command attention and create intensity by isolating a single element. When you show just a character's eyes filling the screen, there's nowhere else for the audience to look. They're forced to engage with that detail. These shots can serve different purposes depending on the context. They can create suspense, like a needle injecting into someone, a woman applying makeup, or simply highlight something that the audience needs to remember for later, such as a clue in a mystery film. What's fascinating about extreme close-ups is how they can transform the familiar into something almost abstract. For example, a close-up of skin can become a landscape, and a human eye can become an entire world. They make the ordinary extraordinary just by changing our perspective. Now, I think it's really important to note that directors often use extreme close-ups sparingly, saving them for moments of high drama or revelation. Otherwise, when overused, they tend to lose their impact. But when used well, they're kind of like an exclamation point in your visual storytelling, emphasizing exactly what you want your audience to feel in that moment. What I've discussed with you today are the 8 main framing techniques used in the filmmaking process. Now, I did promise something special for those of you who stuck around to the end, and here it is. I've created a shot framing cheat sheet that demonstrates all of the various shot sizes from extreme wide shot down to extreme close-up. All you have to do is click the link in the description below and sign up to our Substack to download it. Both the sign up and guide are completely free. In addition to these 8 shots, it's important to know that you can often combine 2 of these shots together to create a new sub-shot. For example, you'll often hear directors tell you that they want a medium close-up, which is of course a combination of a medium shot and a close-up. But these 8 are the tried and true standards. Understanding these different shot sizes gives you incredible flexibility as a storyboard artist. It's like having different pencils in your drawing kit, each one able to create a different effect and evoke different emotions. The art of filmmaking is knowing which shot to use when, and how to combine them to tell your story in the most effective way. So as you create your own storyboards, experiment with these different framing techniques. Pay attention to how they make you feel as a viewer and how they can help you connect with your audience. Remember, great visual storytelling isn't just about what you show, but how you choose to show it. Now, if you happen to miss my last video in this series on the 6 essential shots every storyboard artist must know, then you'll want to check out that video right here. I'll see you next time.